Hello students, I am Dr. Ashish Kumar Suri. Welcome to revision summary part 6 of unit 5 of management. In this session we will discuss the topic time value of money. इस टॉपिक में से कभी कभी एक क्वेश्चन पूछ लिया जाता है, so you can expect one question from this topic. Expected mark will be 1 and the difficulty level may range from easy to difficult. So what do we mean by time value of money or time preference of money? So this means that a sum of money received in future is less valuable than the sum amount of money received today. For example, if you have two options, receive rupees 200, receive rupees 100 today or receive rupees 100 a year later, then which option is more worthful for you? Receive rupees 100 today or after 1 year. So definitely receiving rupee 100 today is more worthful than receiving rupees 100 after a year. Now the question is why? Why the worth of money is more today as compared to the same worth of same amount of money in future? The reason is that we have investment opportunities available. If you will receive rupees 100 today and you will invest it say in a bank where you will receive an interest of 6% per year, then after 1 year the value of this 100 rupee will be rupees 106. So this means that after a year this 100 rupee will become 106. So that's why receiving rupee 100 today is more valuable than receiving rupee 100 a year later, because within a year you can grow this 100 rupee to 106 rupee. Another reason is that we have inflation which erodes the purchasing power of money. Because of inflation, what is inflation? It is the general increase in the prices of goods and services. So because of inflation the prices of goods and services increases. So whatever quantity you can buy say with 100 rupee today, okay, the same quantity of goods you cannot buy a year later. So for example, say petrol is rupees 50 a liter today, then within 100 rupee you can purchase how many liters of petrol? 100 upon 50, that is 2 liter. But say after a year if the price of petrol increases to rupees 60 a liter, then you can buy less petrol. This quantity will be lesser than 2 liter. So this means that within the same amount of money you can buy less quantity after a year. So 100 rupee today worth more than 100 rupee a year later. This is the basic concept of time value of money. So what does it say is that time value of money means the sum of money received in future is less valuable than the identical sum at present. The worth of rupee that is to be received after some time will be less than a rupee received today. Time value of money is expressed in terms of rate of interest, or that we more popularly called as discounting rate. So time value of money को हम discounting rate की term में express करते हैं. Time value of money is also related to inflation and purchasing power of money, as we have discussed. Due to inflation and purchasing power of money erodes. Okay, thus the purchasing power of a sum of money in future will be less than its purchasing power at present. So the same example that we have discussed. Okay. Now there are various techniques to calculate time value of money. So we have two different techniques. These are compounding technique and discounting technique. We will discuss them one by one. So what is compounding technique? This method is used to find the future value of a present sum of money. We are finding out the future value of a present sum of money. Compounding helps to know the future value of cash flows at the end of a period at a definite rate of return. Thus, compounding technique, what does it do? It converts the present value into future value. So for example, we have discussed, say if you have 100 rupee today, if rate of interest is 6% per annum, then and you deposit 100 rupee, then what will be its value a year later? 106 rupee. So this 100 rupee is what? This is the present value. This 106 rupee is what? This is future value. So what we are doing in compounding technique, we are finding out the future value of a present sum of money. Okay, so we are converting present value into future value. Okay, interest is compounded when the amount earned on an initial principal amount become part of principal at the end of every compounding period. Now what is compounding interest? When interest at the end of a period also becomes the part of principal, and on interest also we earn interest, that is what compounding. So for example, after 1 year this 100 rupee become 106 rupee. Now if we deposit 100 rupee for example say for 2 years at 6% per annum rate of interest. So after 1 year you will receive rupees 6 as the interest on this 100 rupee. So we will add this interest in the principal amount, and now the principal amount becomes rupees 106. Now in second year you will receive interest at the rate of 6% on this 106 rupee. Okay, so you will receive interest on interest also. This is compounding interest. The formula used to calculate future value of a single cash flow. Now how to calculate the future value? AN is what? The future value, equals to P is what? The present value, multiply by 1 plus R to the power N. Here R is what? The required rate of return, and N is what? The compounding period. Okay, so AN is the compounded amount or future value of principal amount P. Now this term 1 plus R to the power N, okay, this term is called future value interest factor. Remember this, इस पर क्वेश्चन पूछा जा सकता है. Okay, so future value interest factor is 1 plus R to the power N. So we can also write down this as future value equals to present value multiply by FVIN or future value interest factor at R% rate of return for N compounding period. Now say if compounding is done semi-annually, this means that instead of adding the interest after a year, we are adding the interest after 6 months only. Okay, so in that case what will happen? How we will add on the interest? So say if rate of interest is 6%, so we will first divide it by 2. Why we will divide it by 2? Because we are doing semi-annual compounding. So 6% upon 2 is 3%. Now principal amount is 100 rupee. So 3% of 100 rupee is rupees 3. So after 6 months we will add 3 rupees to 103, and now for the next 6 months of the year we will get return on 103 rupees. This means at the end of a year the amount will be more than 106 rupee, because now we are getting interest on this additional 3 rupee for 6 months. So this means that more will be the compounding frequency, more will be the amount that you will receive, or more will be the future value. So what will be the formula? Now अब हमने 1 ईयर में कितनी बार कंपाउंडिंग किया? 2 टाइम्स कंपाउंडिंग किया 1 ईयर में. अगर n ईयर्स है तो कंपाउंडिंग कितना टाइम के लिए होगा? n मल्टीप्लाई बाय 2, और रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट को हमने 2 से डिवाइड कर दिया. सो फॉर्मूला विल बी p प्लस 1 प्लस r बाय 2, p इंटू 1 प्लस r बाय 2 टू दी पावर n मल्टीप्लाई बाय 2. सो हमने रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट को 2 से डिवाइड कर दिया, n को 2 से मल्टीप्लाई कर दिया. सिमिलरली अगर हम क्वार्टरली कंपाउंडिंग करेंगे तो हम 1 ईयर में, क्योंकि 4 क्वार्टर्स होते हैं तो एक साल में 4 टाइम कंपाउंडिंग कर रहे हैं, तो हम रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट को डिवाइड कर देंगे 4 से, एंड वी विल मल्टीप्लाई n विथ 4. सो फॉर्मूला विल बी p मल्टीप्लाई बाय 1 प्लस r बाय 4 टू द पावर n मल्टीप्लाई बाय 4. Now if we are doing monthly compounding, so there are 12 months in a year, so r will be divided by 12, n will be multiplied by 2. Now we can have a general formula. If we are doing compounding n times in a year, so r will be divided by I and n will be multiplied by I. So remember, more will be the frequency of compounding, more will be the future value, or more will be the amount that you will receive after the required time period. So greater is the number of times compounding is done in a year, higher will be the future value or the yield or return. This is important, remember this term. Now we have very important term, rule of 72. So what does this rule says that if you want to know that after how many years a sum of money will get double itself if it is invested at compounded rate of return, then you can find out the required time period by dividing 72 by the required rate of return. So this rule says that the number of years and amount will take to double itself can be approximately, this will be an approximate value, approximately obtained by dividing 72 with the given fixed annual rate of interest. For example, if rate of interest is 6%, so after how much time period the amount will double itself? It will be 72 divided by 6, that is 12 years approximately. So with this rule you can very easily find out the time period after which an amount will double itself. Just divide 72 with the required compounded rate of return. Now we have discounting technique. In compounding technique we were calculating future value of a present sum of money. So we were converting present value into future value. In discounting we are doing reverse of it. It is an attempt to calculate the present value of a cash flow falling due on a future date. So what we are doing, we are finding out present value of a future cash flow. So we are converting future value into present value. It is the reverse of compounding technique which tries to calculate the present value of future cash flow. So in compounding we were converting present value into future value. This was compounding technique. In discounting we are calculating present value of future cash flows. So both are opposite to each other. It converts future value into present value. Now the formula is, how we will get the formula? We have just seen that future value is equals to present value multiplied by 1 plus r to the power n. Now if we want to know the present value, so present value will be future value divided by, or it will be future value multiplied by 1 plus r to the power n. So this is the formula of calculating present value of a future cash flow. Now here this term 1 plus r to the power n, this term is known as present value interest factor. In compounding technique we have seen future value interest factor. Here we have present value interest factor. So we can also write it down like this: present value equals to future value multiplied by present value interest factor at r% rate of return for n compounding years or n years. Now present value of a series of cash flow. We have seen the present value of a single cash flow. Now if we have series of cash flow, so say C1 is the cash flow after 1 year, C2 is the cash flow after second year, and so on. So the present value of first year cash flow will be C1 upon 1 plus r to the power n. Why power 1? Why 1? Because it is for first year. For second year it will be C2 upon 1 plus r to the power 2. For third year it will be C3 upon 1 plus r to the power 3, and so on. For nth year it will be Cn upon 1 plus r to the power n. So we will add all these present values, and we will get the net present value equals to summation Ci upon 1 plus r to the power I. This will be the present value of a series of cash flows. Okay. Now this summation, okay, we can 1 upon 1 plus r to the power n, we have just seen that it was present value interest factor. So we can also write it down like Ci multiply by present value interest factor for ith cash flow. Okay. Now annuity, present value of an annuity. Annuity is a series of equal cash flow of an amount each year of a financial product. So for say for example you are depositing 1000 rupee in a bank after say every month. Okay. So rupee 1000 you will deposit at the end of say first month, then rupee 1000 at the end of second month, third month, and so on. For you are doing it for say 24 months. So you are depositing equal amount of cash flow at a predefined time period, equal time interval. This is what annuity. Okay, so it is a series of equal cash flows of an amount each year, or say each month, or semi-annually also, of a financial product. So say insurance, in insurance you deposit your premium after same amount of premium after a fixed time interval, say monthly or yearly premium you have chosen. So that is also an example of annuity. So how to calculate the present value here? Because the cash flows are equal. Okay, so it will be C multiply by summation of present value interest factor. Okay, now it can also be calculated by the help of this formula. It is important. This is the formula to calculate the present value of annuity. PV equals to 1 plus R to the power n minus 1 upon 1 plus R to the power n multiply by R multiply by C. Here again R is the required rate of return, n is the time period, C is the equal cash flow. Now if annuity continues for infinite time period, then this is termed as perpetuity. Remember, if annuity continues for infinite time period, it is called perpetuity, and the present value of a perpetuity is PV equals to C divided by R. So this formula just reduces to this simple formula, PV equals to C upon R. Now future value, with the help of this formula, if we will calculate the future value, so it will be present value multiplied by 1 plus R to the power n minus 1 divided by R. This is again important. This is future value of an annuity, and this is present value of an annuity. Now bonds are debt instrument. These can be issued by corporates or governments or financial institutions. So bonds are negotiable promissory notes that can be issued by corporate institutes or government. So government also issues bonds, government agencies, to raise funds from investors. Now bonds are issued for a longer time period. Okay, so bonds are a part of capital market because they are issued for a long time duration. For example, say 5 years, 10 years, even government issues bond for 15 years or 20 years also. Okay, so bonds are issued for long time period and they are debt instrument. Government bonds are more safer than corporate bonds. Now there are some terms which are related to bonds. These are face value. This is the par value, also known as par value. It represents the amount of money the issuer borrows and promise to repay. This is the amount that the issuer is promised to repay at the time of maturity. So bond was what? It is a negotiable promissory note. So face value is that amount of money which the issuer promised to pay to the bondholder or to the investor at the time of maturity. Then coupon rate, like in bank deposit you receive interest rate. In case of bond, that interest is known as coupon rate. Now coupon rate is calculated on face value always. It is the specified interest rate payable to the bondholder on the par value or the face value irrespective of the price of issue. So bond किस प्राइस पर इशू हुआ है, irrespective of that the coupon rate is always calculated on face value. Maturity period, it is the time period for which the bond is issued or after how many years the investor will receive the maturity amount. So the number of years after which the par value is payable to the bondholder. So at the time of maturity, the face value or the par value is returned back or pay back to the bondholder by the bond issuer. Then market value, like equity shares, bonds are also traded in the market and that market is known as bond market. So the price at which a bond is traded in the market is known as the market value. Okay, market value is the price at which bond is usually sold or purchased in the market. Now this market value, it may be different from the face value. Say if face value is 100 rupee, market value may be more than that, it may be less than that, also from the face value depending on various factors. Now the method of valuation of bond. In case of bond, the investor receive two streams of money. One is the in terms of interest, and another in terms of the face value or the par value which the investor receive at the time of maturity. So how we can do valuation of bond? We can convert the value of all interest streams and the face value to their present value, and by adding all these values we will get the valuation of bond. So here I is what the interest payment, annual interest payment, R is what the discounted or required rate of return, okay, and N is what the number of years, or R is also what it is the coupon rate. Then here this R is what it is the redemption value or the par value. So the value of bond will be I multiplied by sum of now because the investor is receiving the interest payment for number of years, okay, till maturity, so it will be summation 1 upon 1 plus R to the power N plus R divided multiplied by 1 upon 1 plus R to the power N. Now this summation value we have seen that it is called present value interest factor of an annuity, and this 1 upon 1 plus R to the power N, this is called present value interest factor. So valuation of bond will be I multiplied by present value interest factor of annuity plus R multiplied by present value interest factor. Then there are various factors which will affect the bond price or the market price or the price at which the bond is traded in the bond market. These factors are: first is interest rate. If the interest rate on existing security increases, this means that the investor are getting more return from other security, so bond prices will fall. So bond price falls with an increase in the market interest rate and rises with a decrease in the market interest rate. So there is an inverse relation between market price of a bond and the interest rate prevailing in the market. Inflation: when inflation increases, bond price falls because the real yield or real return declines in this case. When inflation decreases, bond price increases. Credit rating: so credit rating means what is the worthiness of the issuer to repay the money. So higher will be the credit rating, this means that better is the position of the issuer to repay your money back. So in that case the price of bond will be high. If the credit rating goes down, then the bond price will also go down. Now if the bond will pay semi-annual interest rate, then in that case the valuation of bond will be the interest, coupon amount will be divided by 2, so it will be I upon 2. Then in the same way we will find out the present value interest factor of annuity at R by 2 rate of interest for 2n compounding time periods. So we have just seen that for semi-annual interest rate we divide interest by 2 and multiply n by 2, then R multiply by present value interest factor for R by 2 interest and 2n compounding time periods. Zero coupon bonds: these bonds do not pay any interest to the bondholders. Then what will be the return to the bondholders? These bonds are issued at discount to the bondholders. So say if a bond is having a face value of ₹100, the issuer will issue it at a lesser value, say for example ₹70 for 10 years time, for say 10 years time period. So 100 rupees face value का bond investor को मिला 70 rupees पर. So you have invested 70 rupee at present. Now what you will get at the maturity? On maturity you will get this 100 rupee. So by investing 70 rupees today, you are getting 100 rupee at the maturity of the bond. So these are zero coupon bond. So bond which do not make any periodic interest payment are zero coupon bonds. Their coupon rate is zero. Remember, this is important. Coupon rate of zero coupon bond is zero. The return to the investor consists of the difference between the redemption value, this 100 rupees is the redemption value, and the value of the bond on maturity date, and the below face value purchase price. The 70 rupees is the purchase price, so the return will be rupees 30 to the investor. Now, because there is significant difference between the issue price and the maturity price of zero coupon bond, they are also called deep discount bond. Remember, zero coupon bonds are also called deep discount bonds. Now, yield to maturity, these are the terms specific to the bonds. Yield to maturity, YTM, it is the total return anticipated on a bond if the bond is held until it matures. So, how much return an investor receive on a bond by investing money on a bond if it hold the bond until the maturity. So, this is what yield to maturity. It can be calculated by this formula, nth root of face value divided by current price minus 1. Nth root of face value divided by current price minus 1. Okay. Here n is what the number of years for which the bond is issued. Now, yield to call, this is specific only to callable bonds. What are callable bonds? These are the bonds which can be redeemed by the issuer at a date before the maturity date. Okay. So, yield to call is the yield of a bond if the bond is bought and hold until the call date. So, if an investor is holding the bond until the call date, then the yield earned by him is what? The yield to call. But this yield is valid only if the security is called prior to maturity. So, this is applicable in case of callable bonds only. Many bonds are callable, especially those issued by corporation. This means that the issuer of the bond can redeem the bond on what is known as the call date at a price known as the call price. The call date of a bond is always before the maturity date. Then current yield, it is the ratio of interest earned to the current price of the bond. So, it is current yield is equals to the interest earned divided by the current price of the bond. This is current yield of the bond. It is calculated specific to the current price of the bond. So, it is a function of price of the bond. Now, these are some of the examples from previous year questions. The effect of continuous compounding is captured by, now continuous compounding is that what is the limit for which, what is the limit up to which compounded interest can grow if it is reinvested for infinite time period. This is continuous compounding. So, continuous compounding, the future value is given by present value multiplied by e to the power r t. Okay. So, the first option is the right option. This is the formula for continuous compounding. When each coupon payment and the redemption value of a bond are detached and are issued as separate and independent instrument are called, now there is a term called STRIP, S-T-R-I-P, which means separate trading of registered interest and principal security. Separate trading of registered interest and principal security. So, in the case of STRIP, the coupon payment and the redemption value of a bond are detached from each other and they are issued as separate and independent instrument. So, STRIPS, this is the right answer for this question. So, students, if you are preparing for IIT JAM, CSIR NET or NTA UGC NET, you can buy the study material of Edunkle. This will definitely help you to clear your examination. You can also download the app of Edunkle from your Google Play Store. On this app, you will find a support of more than 250 experienced faculties. These faculties will help you to solve your queries and to crack your examination. Thank you very much.